And we've got some legendary shit going down here. Like, he knows what it's like to get a sticky audience. He knows how to do what it is that we do. He was the godfather of all of this shit that we're doing, where he's like, no, I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to get paid more than the athletes. I'm going to use my voice, and I am just going to simply change the way radio is done, and I'm going to dominate it. And Jim Rome, and at a young age as well. And so Jim Rome is with us now. Costas, you guys were talking off air. What do we need to know here about your friendship? You guys are different sports, different sorts, but kindred spirits.
Yeah, well, I respect anybody who does what they do exceptionally well on their own terms. So there's a lot of respect there. I think there's respect from a distance, but Jim and I have not spent much time, if any, together, but we plan to remedy that in the near future because we are in geographic proximity.
All right, well, stay there. We're going to get to the Gotti story, but Mike.
Okay.
Mike Romey's here.
This is the legend.
Mike Romey's here.
Oh, man. Much has been made of the festival poster, but if it were my festival poster, I'd put Jim Rome over your name, Dan. This is a coup. Getting Jim Rome to do this show. Thank you so much, Romey, for joining us on the Freedom Marathon. I'm such a huge fan. You're an icon.
Can you even believe? Look who's on the fucking pirate ship.
That's right, man.
Unbelievable, man. First things first. Unbelievable, man.
Yes.
Permission to board the pirate ship.
Yes, Romey.
Incredible, man.
Romey.
Dan, first of all, Dan, thank you so much for having me and what you just said. Now, I got to be straight. If I had known, you never want to be the guy to follow the guy. Had I known that my guy Bob Costas was before me, the answer would have been no. I mean, that's some John Shire shit right there. All right, nobody dialed me into that. But
unfair what we did to you, Romey. But Romey, you guys are two very look. This is my deal. We birthed something that feels a little like what you created, and what I'm telling you is nobody's ever done it better than Costas, Jim, in terms of what he does in his field. Like nobody, period. But you were first. You were first over here too.
I would say this: if Bob were here or not here, without question, the most brilliant, genius talent of our era for what we do. There's nobody in this business that I hold in higher regard than Bob Costas. So yeah, yes, I'm John Shire. Yes, I've got no business following him, but I have so much respect, and I've always appreciated that Bob thought that was worth his time to come on my program, talk a little shit about the jungle, and that was always a great time. But in terms of the ship itself, man, it feels good. It feels natural, and I am so glad to be here. I appreciate you guys. And Mike, good to finally meet you, Mike.
It's phenomenal.
Good to meet you, bro.
It's phenomenal.
I mean, everyone's tossing around compliments, but anyone want to throw me one? Anybody?
Shut up, Stugotz.
Yeah, get out of here, you snake.
Man.
Snake. Let the legends talk.
Okay.
He is so jealous that this isn't happening at 5 o'clock.
Stu, you're better than average. You're above average. How about that?
I'll take it.
You guys want to do 5 o'clock, Stugotz and Jim Rome?
Rome, I got a slot 5:30. You want to join me, stupidity?
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Let's not get crazy, dude. Let's not get crazy. Send you're above average.
We want to get to Rome in a second, but Costas, give us your John Gotti story. I want to hear the John Gotti story.
Okay, here's the deal. Syracuse, my alma mater, plays Missouri, the team I used to do the games for on KMOX in St. Louis. I think it was the Holiday Festival or something at Madison Square Garden, wintertime, sometime in the early 90s. So I have to go to the game because of my connection to both teams. And when the game is over, Boeheim splits. They go back to Syracuse. But Norm Stewart, who then is coaching the Tigers, he and his wife and some people from St. Louis are staying overnight. He says, you know New York, where should we go? I said, I got a place in Little Italy that'll stay open late for us. So I call, and we get there at about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And we're sitting there, we're having a fine dinner, and the evening is winding down. It's close to midnight. I look up, who's walking in? But John Gotti, the Dapper Don, flanked by two of his henchmen. And the waiter practically drops the rigatoni in my lap. He goes scurrying off. It's obvious that Gotti is a regular there, and they greet him as if he's royalty. They remove his $2,000 cashmere overcoat as if it's the cape of a prince, and they show him to a table not far from us. And the stewards recognize him and some other people at our table. And one lady says, should we leave? And I said, no, you don't understand. Unless you've done business with Mr. Gotti and somehow crossed him, you're now in the safest place in all of New York. So enjoy the rigatoni. So he sits down, and a few minutes go by, and the maitre d' comes up and he says, Mr. Costas, Mr. Gotti would like to buy you a drink. And I'm thinking, by this time I've had enough to drink, but this goes in the category of an offer you cannot refuse.
Yes.
So I have them bring me a little more Chianti. They pour a glass. I look over at Gotti, as a gentleman should. I said, Mr. Gotti, thank you. And he says, Bob, I like your work. Now, what am I supposed to say? I like your work too. Nice rub out at Sparks Steakhouse. Highly efficient. The guy had it coming. So instead I just say, thank you, Mr. Gotti. Have a nice evening. And he turns to his henchman. He goes, Bob Costas, sportscaster. I turned to Norm Stewart's wife. I said, John Gotti, mobster. That's the whole story. You never know who's sports cuts through. You never know.
Bob, thank you.
Romy, any mobsters ever buy you a drink?
No, hold on.
What
We're
you
going to
got?
get to Rome in a second. Rome, thank you, Bob, for being on with us. We appreciate all the time. Thank you for always
Good luck
taking
with the
care of us.
marathon.
Thank you, Bob.
Check out his show,
See you,
okay?
Bob.
Check out his show. It's going to be good because he makes good television, and now he's doing whatever he wants with the creative space on HBO.
He arrived at a really great place where he can pick and choose what it is he wants to do.
Yeah, but now, Romy, so have you, because you got racehorses and because you changed the game and you were making more for a while there. You had bodyguards at the Super Bowl and you were making more than any athlete in sports. Romy, you changed the game. Like you could not have expected when this started. Oh, you know what I'm going to do to monetize this? I'm going to be the rock star of this industry, making more than anybody.
All right, so I appreciate that. Why don't we clarify a few things and set the record straight on a few things? In terms of me making more money than any of the athletes I ever covered, that was never true. There was some fucking crazy number that got thrown around that, well, I didn't deny, but it was not true. Let's just say it is not even a fraction, Dan, of what you are now pulling in for what you're doing right now. So let's get that money out of the side. In terms of you had a bodyguard that you traveled with. What I had was a guy, a Navy SEAL, a black belt in karate, a guy that I absolutely loved, a guy by the name of Richard Makowitz. And all this guy did was he would roll with me on these trips in the event that somebody had too much to drink and nothing to lose and wanted to hook me or bait me. It was always just kind of like insurance. And the irony is, it wasn't a knucklehead. It was actually a couple of athletes a couple of times where we almost had an issue. In fact, in Miami, and not in your hotel, I want to say, if it wasn't Fontainebleau or I don't remember what it was, and no names mentioned, but I'm coming in one night and I've had a few pops, and this other Hall of Famer has had a few pops, and we pass by each other, and this guy brushes up against me, and it was not a mistake. And because I've got some liquid courage, I come around, I'm like, hey, yo, man, what's your problem? He's like, what's your problem? And all of a sudden now I have to deal with maybe exchanging hands with a Hall of Famer. Now this so-called bodyguard is with me, and then the other Hall of Famer is with the first Hall of Famer. And the two of them are looking at us and they're talking to each other. And my guy says to the other Hall of Famer, who you all know, the fuck is going on with the two of them? And the other Hall of Famer goes, I have no idea. But I will say, the Navy SEAL went to the Hall of Famer and said, Mr. So-and-so, is there an issue? And the Hall of Famer looks at him and goes, no issue at all. And we just kept right on moving.
Jim,
so
why,
no,
Jim,
not a bodyguard, but a buffer.
All right, Jim, and I love that story. Why are you protecting the guilty? I want to know. I mean, if you're going to be a pirate, Amin's already drunk. Like, if you're going to board the pirate ship, like, can we get the name? Can we get some specifics here without embarrassing anybody? It's okay that somebody backed down from a Navy SEAL.
Yeah. No, I mean, I see you working. I know, Dan, that's you, and that's where you live, and that's why they're giving you $50 million. But I'm going to ask that you respect that I not give this guy up because, hey, man, I was kind of a knucklehead too. I'm going to leave that story where that story is. And I know that's going to be disappointing to you, and maybe I'm not pirate material. But I ain't getting off this fucking boat, man. I'm happy. I'm settling here. I'm settling here, man.
That's
I'm
fine.
not walking the plank. I'm good.
Romy, let's leave that story there, but clear up another one. How much do you make? How much do you make,
Oh,
Romy?
dear God.
Don't ask that legend
dear
that.
God.
Even though we're all pretty curious.
Yeah.
Which?
How much do you make was his question.
Oh, how much do I make?
We just want to clear it up.
Because that's a classy question. You want to know how much my house costs? You want to know how much I got in the bank? You want to?
I did it very classy on the front end.
Okay, how much do I make? How much do I make? Yeah. Not nearly as much as I used to make, but probably more than I deserve to make. All right. You know what it was? You know what it was? It's all timing, right? It's all timing. I hit that thing perfectly. My deal got done right around the time satellite radio was coming up. We all know it's about multiple buyers. I hit that thing right. And I'm not going to lie, dude, not to be a douchebag about it, but I did all right. I'm still doing all right, but I really did all right for a while. I mean, I'm throwing money at nightclubs. I'm trying to sponsor bands. I'm buying racehorses. Yeah, man, things were pretty good. Things are great now. But there was a time when there was a cash flow, to be sure.
The Reinvention Project with Jim Rome, wherever it is that you get your podcast. And if he is indeed willing to hang out, I'm totally good inviting live animals in here. Ron McGill and Romy just hangs out for a while. And Ron McGill's going to be here 4 to 5 o'clock. I don't know what animals he's bringing in here, but he's going to be bringing in animals. So let me talk about your career a little bit, because we haven't had this opportunity to talk to you ever.
Damn, we're already in the jungle. I mean, come on, man.
We are already in the jungle. Nicely done, Stugotz. That's right there, right? Why they gave us $50 million, right there, Jim Rome, right there.
Man, you are too. You are too. And by the way, worth every penny. Congrats to you guys. Good for you guys. Good for you guys, man. That whole thing about, I never ever got into what athletes made and how much they got paid. You know what you're worth, whatever somebody's going to give you. And as long as that check doesn't float or rubberize, you're worth it. So, man, good on you guys. Congrats, man.
Thank you, Jim. And thank you for knighting us, because you've always been kind, because I know that you appreciate how hard it is to create an audience that cares that way, because you did it with Smack Offs. And we've got something for you here. In the next 15 minutes, Stugotz is going to see if something is worthy, because you're doing this again for the 27th annual Smack Off is coming on later this month, and Stugotz wants to perform for you. He's got one, and we want to see if it merits something. Are you willing to do that with us in a few minutes?
Man, I love that. I love that.
Okay.
Because I know Stu's going to murder it. I just know, dude. No pressure.
All right.
I know you're going to murder that.
We'll
dude.
see how much you love it.
All right. So I wanted to talk to you, because this is not something, look, man, you've had a long and distinguished career that has a lot of stuff in it. And you went and did the ESPN stuff before we did the ESPN stuff. You're young hotshot. You're making ratings. You're popular. You're nationally famous. You're very young. And you have that interview with Jim Everett where you call him Chris, and that goes sideways. And I could see how that happens to a young person with ego. And now you're making television, and Jim Everett gets pissed off, and it ends up being embarrassing for everyone involved. I don't know what you can say about this. I don't know what you've said about this. But from your perspective, you're so many more things than this one thing done young, but for some reason, a whole body of work, a lot of people, that's the thing they remember.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you bringing that up. Here's the bottom line. I'm all about accountability and responsibility. I put my entire brand on when somebody deserves credit, I'm going to hype them up. And if somebody deserves a kick in the ass, they're going to get that. So be accountable, be responsible. That was not a good night at the office for me. That was not a good night at the office for me. But I'm going to tell you exactly how that went down, because there's always some misconceptions. This whole thing about, hey, Rome, you set that up, man. That was staged. Wrong answer. That was not staged. That was not staged. That was live television. Now, understand, when I first broke in to the business, late 20s, early 30s, man, we did stuff like that, dude. We talked a lot of shit. I mean, that's kind of what my brand was. We talk shit. But at the same time, I did not want to be known as a guy who just got on the air and talked a lot of shit. I took a lot of pride in what I did. I wanted to do a smart interview. I wanted to do a tough interview. I wanted to be researched. And if I was going to run my mouth, I wanted to make sure that I could back up everything I had to say. The thing about that show was this. It was a live show. It was 1 hour. And here's your backstory. We're in front of our whiteboard, our grease board one night, and we're looking at who we booked, who our guests are. It was an interview-driven show. It was 1 hour, one guest. So if I had a really good guest, it was a really good night. If I had a really bad guest, and you guys know this, you know within 2 minutes whether or not somebody wants to be there. It was going to be a really bad night. I'm talking to the booker and my producer at the time, a guy named Mark Shapiro, who you probably know, brilliant guy. I look up at that board, and I see Jim Everett. And all of a sudden, I'm like, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. How did that guy get on that board? Let's talk about this. I say to my booker, did you call him or did he call you? And I'm gonna try to make this as short as possible, but the policy that we had on the show was, if I said something about a guest Remember, there's no internet, there's no social media. If I said something about a guest and that guest took offense to it, you bring them on the show. We talk it through. We are accountable for everything. I just want to know, did he call us or did we call him? And my booker said, oh no, he called us. Right before the show, my booker says, dude, I got to own this. We called him. I'm like, all right, call this guy up and let him know. There's not going to be a sandbag. We're not going to bring this guy in and ambush this guy. You let him know. In the event he doesn't know, I call him Chris Everett. And if he's coming on the TV show, I will say to his face what I said behind his back on the radio. I will be true and authentic to this. It's not going to be the whole interview. Make sure he knows this and make sure he knows it's going to be a really good interview, because nobody can leave with a bad experience, because nobody ever has. And Everett's response was, I know exactly where I'm going. I know what the show's about. I want to do this. And I'm like, good, let's do this. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good interview. I get into it. It's live. I'm young. I'm immature. I hit him once with it. I hit him a second time. He says, I bet you don't do it again. Me being 30 and not that bright was, I bet I do. You know, bam, the table's rolled over. Coffee's getting thrown around. We're in a commercial break. And we get up. And I'm like, dude, and keep in mind, I go about 5'10" and he goes about 6'5". I'm like, what the fuck? You knew. He's like, yeah, I know, but. And then the thing just kind of spills outside. And then that's that. It was not a setup. It was not staged. I did not want that to be my whole career. I wanted to be known for somebody who was grinding. However, I did it. It was my fault. I own it. It's a part of who I am. I was Tanya Harding for a week, dude. I got the treatment on Saturday Night Live. Everybody was coming for me. Everybody. So that's kind of the genesis of it. And if you will never believe this part of it, he and I have never spoken since. For 10 years, I tried to redo the interview. For 10 years, I wanted closure. And he always said, no, man, no, I don't need that. And I finally stopped asking.
We should get him Jim Everett.
Crazy.
We should reunite them here.
You want to bring him together?
Oh, no, dude. Believe me, it's come up a million times since then. Everybody I've ever done business with said, what about the reunion? I'm sure we will at some point, but it's got to be right, and it's got to be set up the right way. And we don't even live that far from each other. I'm shocked I've never seen him. We live close enough to each other.
5 o'clock stupidity. We will set that up. You guys can just do that in a couple of hours after the animal segment.
It's got to be 5:30. I've had Dan from 5 to 5:30.
Okay, that's right. All right.
Oh, yo, you guys want to do this today? It's been 25 years, but you want to do it today? Oh, okay.
Let's do this, Stugotz. Are you ready? Because it is going to be the 27th annual Smack Off. It is June 25th. If you're not familiar with this, Jim Rome created an environment around his show. Rockstar toured the country. People were competing against each other to be more creative than the next guy before we were doing any of this sticky stuff. And this is why Jim is on with us, I think, in terms of kindred spirits. He knows how hard it is to make the audience care like that, to invest like that in, I'm going to be creative competitively, and I'm going to see if I can be more creative than the next guy, and we're going to entertain the audience. So, Jim, without even knowing that, because you and I have never talkthat about this, but I know that that's got to be the kinship that you and Mike.
Nailed it.
You nailed it. Mike is so happy to see you.
Really quickly, I realized early in my life, Dan, that if I was going to entrust the callers with my career, I would not have had a long career. I would have ended up a caller. So I was trying to hold them to a higher standard, like the show itself, man. Bring something to it. Make the show better. What is your take? What is your opinion? And then pit these people against each other. And I couldn't do it every single day, but I knew I could do it once a year.
Stugotz, how do you feel about what you have done here? Because this is big for you. You are not easily pressured. You are Stugotz. For the people who don't know, Stugotz is excellent at the mechanics of radio, and everything we do around here is clumsy and stumbling and everything else. But Stugotz knows.
Although we're 4 hours in right now, like my words are starting to slur. But I'm going to get through it, Dan. It's going to be fun.
Get through it. Okay, I don't mean to put pressure on it. I'm sorry, but you're feeling it. No, but of course you're.
I'm not feeling. I'm feeling tired.
You're in front of the master. No, let's say what's happening here. Stugotz has gotten to this point in his life with something that Jim Rome knows nothing about: profound laziness. Like, just how do I get to this point with the legends by just not trying very hard? And now he's got to try.
You got this, dude. You got this.
I am good, Ronnie. I'm ready.
The best ever. This is Jim Rome is the judge who gets to decide what is a take and what is not a good take. Mm-hmm. Are you ready, Stugotz?
I am ready
to impress the master.
Yes.
I cannot wait, Stugotz, to hear this. We are very excited.
James Philip Rome Romy, thanks for the Vine. Amazing story. I mean, dude is a walking lesson in perseverance. The obstacles he had to overcome. I mean, how many people attend Calabasas High and Santa Barbara University and go on to have successful lives? Answer, everybody. The Gauchos.
Gauchos.
Rome, tied for the 21st most listened to talk show in the United States, according to Talkers Magazine. Dude can talk, but not as well as 20 and a half other radio hosts in America. What happened there? By the way, Talkers, who does ties? Talkers, here's an idea. Talk less. The T in Talkers stands for Tide. Jim, speaking of Calabasas, you know who put the ass in Calabasas? Last year's Smack-Off winner, Travis. Hey, Trav, here's an idea. Unlike Jim, maybe try out some new material. What happened there?
Oh, my God.
What
did Travis do to deserve that?
How the fuck is Rome still burning? It's his hair. It's not flammable. Hey, Jim, here's an idea. Dump some water on yourself. Dude has been living off Jim Everett for decades.
Oh,
no.
What happened?
Come on now.
Fucking God.
That's unbelievable. He just-
Rome, if you were a baseball team, you play at Candlestick Park, the stick. Rome, if you were a pitcher, you'd be a flamethrower who only throws high heat. Or John Candelaria, the Candy Man. Instead of Jim Bunning, you would have been Jim Burning. Do travel with a team of bodyguards because apparently there is a clamoring to harm the person tied for the 21st most listened to radio show in America.
He corrected that. He said the bodyguards were to protect him from the Hall of Famers that he wouldn't mention.
I wasn't listening. My mom died. Hey, Jim, pretty amazing. The 20 hosts ahead of you survived. Want to know why?
Come on.
No one's trying to harm radio hosts.
What?
SoCal.
That's not true.
NoCal. Or in Le Batard's case, MoCal. Romy, $15 million a year. Dude can rake. Hey, Trav, NoCal. You know what being a 4-time Smack-Off champion means? It means you have no life. Not winning Smack-Off 4 times would have been more impressive. Jimmy, get this. Dude is providing you, a man who rakes $15 million per year, with content that he doesn't get paid for. I wasn't listening. Moderna, Trav, just so you know, the person you're trying to impress by telling them you are the 4-time Smack-Off champion might be acting like they are interested, but I assure you, they are
Wait,
not.
Hold on, just stop. Billy, why is your head in your hands? Why?
How long is this thing?
We're almost over.
Why, he didn't go to any of the meetings. He didn't edit anything. He doesn't have
Travis.
anything. He's not ready.
I think Jim left already.
Nobody read it. Jim.
Trav, you think?
Oh, no, I'm still here.
Thank you. Trav,
I'm
you
sorry.
I don't want to miss any of this train fucking wreck.
Trav, you think Rome leads conversations with, hey, I'm the inventor of Smack-Off? Rome, here's Travis being lame at Thanksgiving. Hey, little Tommy, turn off the football game. Uncle T wants to watch himself win the 2018 Smack-Off. Dude is lame.
All right, we need
Trav, if you played basketball point guard for the Portland Trailblazers, your name would be Lamian Lillard. Lame time.
Jim, I'm sorry.
Are you done yet?
I have 3 more pages, Jim.
Oh, no, you're done. If this is in fact the Smack-Off, dude, you were done about an hour ago. I got one thing to say to you, Stu.
Yeah.
You don't get the fucking show.
Hey!
Yes!
You do not get the fucking show.
Robbie,
And I got one more thing to say to you, Broham. I didn't ask for any of this. And I got one more thing to say to you, old man.
Yeah.
How the fuck did you ever get on that pirate ship?
Yeah. How? You just dance around. How?
Hey, dude, I wish the 15 million were true, but that's not true. That's a lie. I'm gonna deny
everything
that.
was a
That's
lie.
definitely not true.
You can
But that other stuff about how you don't get the show, that's true.
Yeah.
And I asked for some of this. All right, maybe some of this. It's not bad, dude. That's not bad. If you were on my show, you'd probably be slotted around 10th or 12th.
All right,
Not bad.
I'll take it.
Not bad.
I'll take it. But Rome,
Not bad at all.
you created an event where you're the only one who gets paid. They're providing free content for you. It is genius. Like the Stugotz is strong in you. I'm proud of you. It's great.
Because that's what I live for, dude. I want you to be proud of me, man.
Yeah.
No, hey, listen, you're right. They for one day,
Awesome.
they create all the content. If I could figure out a way for them to do that 250 days out of the year, that'd be the best shit ever.
Yeah.
But I can't. But I can do it for one day. For just one day. But for you, dude, that was not a bad effort. Not a bad effort at all.